Something is moving through your network that should not be there. The question is whether your security tools noticed, and if they did, whether they actually stopped it or just wrote it down in a log file somewhere. That distinction matters more than most people realize when choosing between these three. All three are open source. All three watch network traffic for threats. But they disagree on something fundamental. Two of them can detect an attack and actively block it in real time. The third refuses to block anything at all. It just watches, records everything in forensic detail, and leaves the response entirely up to you. One was built in the late 90s and is now owned by one of the biggest networking companies on the planet. Another was created specifically because the first one had a technical limitation its users had been complaining about for years. And the third is older than both of them, but thinks about network security in a completely different way. Snort was created in 1998 by Martin Rasch as a signature-based intrusion detection system. It inspects network packets against a database of known attack patterns. When traffic matches a rule, Snort can alert you or block it, depending on whether it runs in detection or prevention mode. The idea is simple. You maintain a library of signatures describing malicious traffic. Snort compares everything crossing your network against that library in real time. Cisco now owns Snort. They acquired SourceFire in 2013 for over $2.7 billion. The commercial rule sets are maintained by Cisco Talos, one of the largest threat intelligence teams in the world. Community rules remain free. Registered users receive commercial rules on a delay. The ecosystem is enormous. Over 400,000 deployments, more than 2 decades of documentation, a community large enough that most configuration questions have already been answered somewhere. For first-time deployments, Snort has the gentlest learning curve of the three. Download the rules, configure the sensor, point it at your network. It starts detecting known threats immediately, but the architecture shaped its limitations. Snort 2, still widely deployed, is single-threaded. It processes packets on one processor core, no matter how many cores your server has. On a small office network under a gigabit per second, that is fine. On a modern enterprise network pushing multiple gigabits, it becomes a bottleneck. Snort 3 introduced multi-threading to fix this. Academic testing, however, found the implementation inefficient. Under heavy traffic, performance can degrade rather than scale with hardware. That limitation is why Suricata exists. The Open Information Security Foundation launched it in 2009. It was built from the ground up with native multi-threading. The foundation, backed in part by the United States Department of Homeland Security, still oversees development. Commercial support comes from Starmus Networks, founded by core contributors. Where Snort processes traffic on a single core and Snort 3 struggles to distribute load efficiently, Suricata was designed to spread work across every available core. Independent research published by ScienceDirect confirmed that Suricata outperforms both Snort and Zeek in detection and prevention modes. The advantage comes from how efficiently it exploits multi-core hardware. Suricata also reads Snort rules. Not all translate perfectly, but the compatibility layer allows organizations to migrate without rebuilding their entire rule base. It adds capabilities Snort lacks. Protocol detection works regardless of port number. If web traffic is tunneled through an unusual port to evade detection, Suricata identifies it anyway. It can extract files from network streams for malware analysis. It outputs structured logs that feed directly into analytics platforms and security information systems. The trade-off remains. Suricata, like Snort, is signature dependent. It detects what it has rules for. A completely novel attack with no matching signature can pass through undetected. Both tools excel at catching known threats. Neither was designed to identify something nobody has seen before. That is where the third tool takes an entirely different approach. Zeek started life in the mid-1990s under the name Bro. That technically makes it the oldest of the three. It was renamed in 2018. Today, it is stewarded commercially by Corelight and developed by an active open-source community. But despite being grouped with Snort and Suricata, Zeek is a fundamentally different kind of tool. Zeek does not rely on signature matching. It does not maintain a traditional rule database. Instead, it passively monitors network traffic and generates detailed logs describing everything it observes, every connection, every protocol handshake, every file transfer, every certificate exchange. The output is not a stream of alerts telling you something bad happened. It is a comprehensive record of what your network actually did. Analysts then query and investigate that record. Zeek includes its own scripting language. This is where its real capability lives. Rather than matching packets against known attack signatures, you write scripts that describe suspicious behavior patterns, unusual login frequencies, unexpected data transfers to unfamiliar destinations, protocol anomalies that deviate from normal baselines. That approach excels at finding threats signature-based tools miss entirely. A zero-day exploit with no known signature will pass straight through Snort and Suricata. But if that exploit produces unusual network behavior, a well-written Zeek script can flag it for investigation. Security teams commonly feed Zeek's structured logs into platforms like Elasticsearch. They build searchable archives of network activity that can be queried months later. Its forensic logging depth surpasses the other two by a significant margin. For incident response teams and threat hunters reconstructing breaches, that level of detail is invaluable. The limitation is equally clear. Zeek cannot block anything. It is a passive observer. It watches traffic through a mirrored port or network tap. It records what it sees. It never sits in line. It never drops a packet. If you require real-time prevention, stopping malicious traffic before it reaches its target, Zeek is not the tool. It is also the most complex to deploy and operate. The scripting language has a learning curve. The event-driven programming model is unfamiliar to many network administrators. The community, while dedicated, is smaller than that of Snort or Suricata. This is why many organizations deploy Suricata and Zeek together. Suricata sits in line, blocking known threats in real time using signatures. Zeek sits on a tap behind it, logging everything and hunting for novel threats signatures cannot detect. One handles the known, the other hunts the unknown. Neither achieves that alone. 3 open-source network security tools. One is the established veteran with the largest ecosystem and easiest setup, backed by Cisco but historically constrained by threading limitations. One was built to solve that performance problem and now leads in Throughput, reading the first tool's rules while adding deeper inspection. And one refuses to block anything at all, choosing instead to observe everything, record everything, and rely on skilled analysts to uncover what the signatures missed. Every choice is a trade-off. At least now you know what you're trading.